Welcome to the WinEH podcast. This show is focused on empowering ranchers. Whether you're a seasoned rancher or just getting started, we'll guide you on how to use the infinite banking concept as an alternative way to finance your operations. It's a better way to think about money. Join us as we discuss planning for the future, attracting the next generation, and the art of keeping more money within the family. Here's your hosts, Winnie and Lacy.
Hello over there. We are just so honored that you are choosing to lean in with the both of us today. We are going to go over what is financial faith and do you have one? Right? So we all know all around the world, there is certain faiths, spiritual faith, religious faiths, right? And we also know that politics, there's a certain type of politics that we have. I'm not quite certain that it's really talked about is, the different types of financial faith that is out there, or maybe like get talked about in this particular vein. But I think it should be discussed because I think that there's, in my personal opinion, there's a lack of clarity as it relates to how people organize, their financial mind. I think there's a lot of confusion there. A lot of people don't really know where to start. And, if you kind of do know where to start, it's because you're either surrounded by or grew up under someone who had taken the time to really focus in on, getting great with money, right? But there's so many actual different ways in which we can get there. So, yeah, what would you say, Lacy, like when you first started exploring the infinite banking concept, if you can think back on what was your thought process around money? Like, how did you categorize it in your mind in terms of money in general?
This is good. This is going to be a good conversation. I would say my relationship with money was not good. I operated from a scarcity point. It's still something that I work on, sometimes daily. So, yeah, I think that our relationship with money, and it dates back our entire lives. Like, what were we exposed to? What practices around money were we exposed to? In our mind, what can money do for us? What does not having money keep us from doing? In a nutshell, my relationship with money hasn't always been great, and not in a way where I was, necessarily irresponsible with money, but just not at a place where it was empowering to face the money. However, another really strange dynamic to me, it's always been something that I'm interested in. In university, I took finance classes. I was like, I should be an accountant. I probably have read more money books than most people that we come across. So although my relationship with money wasn't always healthy, it was always something that I knew I was passionate about. And passionate about, give me the money and I want to do things with it. Put it here, put it there. And yeah, kind of went on a little rant there, but.
Well, I mean, that's the thing. Everyone's experience with money is just so very different. And it just depends on what life has, provided for you to help you understand what is money, what is the role that money plays, right? There really hasn't been a culture in North America anyway, right? Because that's the only thing I can really speak to. I didn't grow up anywhere else except for here in Canada. So this will only be relevant to people who are here, okay? So in the North American culture, there has, to date, been no intentional financial education that started off right in the home, right? Yeah. So either it was really talked about in your home and there was a healthy culture around it, or there was zero culture around it. And so it's a kind of a huge topic, but I guess it becomes more and more relevant in terms of understanding where are you on a scale of 1 to 10 clear about what your financial faith is. Do you know, have you ever questioned and really sat down and thought about what are your values around money? Right? What are your strategies? What are your systems around money? And are they actually all moving in the same direction, or are there aspects of how you operate in your money that sort of like crosshairs or trip over each other and prevent you from actually going in the direction of having more money and not realizing that, you know, there's thoughts and beliefs that you have that are actually preventing you from, you know, receiving more in your life.
Yeah.
Right. And those pieces are really hard to discern because they're so intertwined with a ton of potential postpartum, but that doesn't make sense. Post-traumatic.
Yeah.
Post-traumatic.
Yeah. Yeah. So
post-traumatic stress. Yeah.
Oh, definitely. And so this conversation makes me think about my granny. So I grew up living right next door to my grandparents, and my grandpa drove a logging truck, and my granny worked at the school that I went to, that me and my sisters and all my cousins, we all went to the same school. And so they didn't ever have, you know, super high paying jobs, but I remember her always being so diligent with the money that she did have. And when we talk about financial faith, she was a Christian, and so she tithed. She gave 10% of their paycheck to the church, and she always had money for whatever she needed or whatever they needed, because she was diligent with what they earned or what they were given. And so I think, like, even if we have, you know, not very much money, or we have a lot of money, how we choose to treat it and what we choose to do with it, the choices that we make with it, we can still have everything that we need, even if we are just the cafeteria manager like my granny at the local school. She always had money. Always. It may not have been a lot, but she always had enough and more than, you know, what she needed. And so I think that speaks volumes to our financial faith and our relationship with money. And, you know, to the listeners out there, who in your life can you learn from in that way? I think about her when I do things with our finances. I also think about her when I clean my house, because you could probably eat off of her floor. And so who can you model things after? That's what it makes me think of.
Mm-hmm. And I mean, the spectrum is like, there's no right or wrong way in terms of what is your financial faith. You know, so sometimes if you don't have a person to model after, like myself, you know, for me, the first place that I looked to was just listening, you know, listening to different, like reading different books, choosing different clubs or conferences to go to really like learn. I've spent so much on my own financial education. You know, of course, a lot of it has to do with, you know, the way that you think, just like anything else. And where am I really going with this? It's very broad in terms of where a person can arrive to what determines your financial success, or how you define financial success, and how you want to work with money and believe in money, right? Because either you are a person that feels like, if I focus on money, then that makes me a bad person. Is that your faith? And then how does that serve you? Like, I guess what it comes right back down to is the financial faith that you have truly serving you and helping you to live the best quality of life that you can possibly have.
Mm-hmm.
Right? That's what it really comes down to, right? So regardless of whatever you believe, it doesn't matter. It's like, but does it help you in the direction that you wish to carry yourself in? And if it's not, it's really time to think about and reevaluate, and potentially, you know, where can you make that 1% shift to start redirecting you into a direction that you can actually move towards, where your financial faith is going to allow you to live a prosperous life. Right?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, yeah.
Yeah, let's face it, our financial health goes hand in hand with our physical health. And I think you can relate the two in a sense of, your financial health and improving it and maintaining it. It's just like going to the gym. The first day you go to the gym and you lift weights usually isn't easy, but the more you go, the easier it gets. And it's no different with your financial faith and your financial health. I think that those are the two things that we can do on this side of the earth. I mean, there's so many things that are out of our control, but if we every day look after our financial health and our physical health and do everything we can, doesn't mean that things aren't going to come up, that life's not going to happen. But when it does, if we can react in a proactive way rather than a reactive way, we can feel prepared. It's so much more empowering and so much less stressful.
Yeah, exactly. Everything that we're about on this particular show is helping to guide people, let them know there are different alternatives, okay? And just like anything else with any kind of faith, whether you're like a non-faithist or like an atheist, or whether you're a Christian, Muslim, whatever the faith that you have, let's just say this. In the history of humanity, we are not meant to all have the same faith. It'll never ever happen. That is just a truth. And so not any of you listening out there would necessarily agree with infinite banking concept and where it kind of falls under in terms of financial faith. Mm-hmm. So, not everyone's going to agree, and you don't have to agree with us, but I would say redirecting the conversation, what are the values and the beliefs that infinite banking concept have? Because I believe that practicing the infinite banking concept into your life falls into a particular type of financial faith, right? And it's one on self-reliance. It is about, believing that we are responsible for all of our actions and the results in our life. Uh-huh. I believe that this particular financial faith has a lot more focus on starting not with investing, right? Investing, we all have a responsibility to grow our money too. At some point, the need to grow our money is a necessity, right? But it shouldn't be, in my personal opinion, I don't think it should be the first thing that a person thinks about right away when they're delving into the world of finance, right? First is earning the money. Yeah. Right? We all got to find a way to earn the money. Then it's about learning how to manage that money, having developing good habits about managing that money, right? And there's a lot to learn. All just right in there. Yeah. There are systems, there's so many nuances around just managing money. Go ahead.
Yeah, I think I just want to make it clear, when we talk about financial faith, we're not talking about a spiritual realm. We're talking about, what is your financial path? What has paved the way and brought you to the place you are with your financial, your relationship with money, and basically, what choices do you make on the daily, and what faith do you put in your finances to steward what you're given in a way to, when you come to the end of the road, or, those passive income years or time for that next generation to take over, what path have you taken on your finances to get to where there's enough, or, more than enough is the goal?
Putting it out, I'm really putting it out there. I guess I chose the word faith because there is an unseen relationship with money.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Yeah.
It's not all just black and white, what you see on, the paper, right? The unseen part about money is how we think about things. And the internal dialogue and the conversation we think about and act towards money has a direct impact in how we make our decisions about money.
Yeah, and I think too, what's the definition of faith? A lot of people describe it as believing in what you can't see. And so learning about infinite banking, meeting with us, letting us lead you along the way, coaching you, and putting that faith into that concept that, believing in what you can't see down the road.
And what's interesting about checking out the infinite banking concept is that, your personal life experience is really going to let you know whether this is for you or not.
Mm-hmm.
From, whether you're like all the mistakes, especially those, like, who hasn't made financial mistakes?
Oh yeah, everyone has.
But everyone has. And I think those mistakes are 100% so valuable. But the message here today is, let's get clear on whether the infinite banking concept fits within your values and beliefs, or maybe it can help you get clear on what those are actually.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, totally.
100%. So where would you say, Lacy, is a great place to start?
Yeah, so reach out to us at WeCare@rancherway.com. Send us any comments, feedback, questions, and head over to our website, rancherway.com. You're going to want the book bundle. So Nelson's book here, Becoming Your Own Banker, and very exciting, the Canadian version of Farming Without the Bank. You're going to want both of those.
So glad you leaned in with us on the WinEH podcast. We truly hope you're feeling more informed and empowered to take another step towards optimizing your financial life. Right now, make sure you hit subscribe so you can keep growing and learning with us. Until next time, we wish you prosperity in every area of your life.